Finn Balor, he's never gonna win. Okay, he's never gonna win. Give it up. He's not gonna win. Stop thinking he will. Stop cheering for him. Because at the end of the day, it's over. He's Finn Balor.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Beard Bros Break It Down podcast. My name is RedBeard.
My name is Krodok.
And we are the Beard Bros. And today's episode is going to be a long one. We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. And we have probably the last 2 weeks of WWE content. We're going to be talking about today, from heel turns, promos, and new champions, a lot of things. So before we get into that, man, how's your week been? How's your week been? How you doing?
Well, my week has been actually pretty good, you know. My birthday yesterday. Nobody wished me happy birthday. It was yesterday. Too late.
We did, though.
And then freaking I got a new PC, so now my equipment is way better. So anyway, that's basically it. What about you?
It's been sort of the weeks felt short. Work week was weird. Worked 2 days this week. Yay. Hooray. But pretty much been doing the same thing. Taking a break this week. We're also recording this like live time. We are recording this a day before the podcast comes out because we can catch up. But the week's been super quick for me. We had a storm this past Sunday, and we lost power like 3 to 4 times. Couldn't go into work because it kept me up. But I digress, and got to work 2 days, and then they were like, hey, and now I got a 4-day weekend. But mainly I have been just doing gaming, taking a break from streaming this week. Pretty much just chilling, and this is probably the one thing that I'm doing this week, so I'm having a swell time. So
yeah,
looking good.
That's nice.
Looking good, just chilling. Smile on my face. But yeah, but let's get into it. We got a lot to talk about, and this probably will go into 2 parts, but we shall see if we can fit it in here. So do you want to start, or do you want me to go ahead and throw us in with some stuff?
You know, I'll start. So we're gonna start from last week's Raw. No, wait, sorry. The SmackDown after Elimination Chamber is where we're gonna start.
Yes, because we talked about Raw and NXT after, so now we're on the SmackDown.
Yes. So, one of the main things I remember from that is the Bianca, Jade, and Naomi segment. And holy shit, man. I know some people are like, oh my god, this is so hokey. What's with this acting? Why it's so over the top, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. It worked for me. I loved it. It felt like a drama series on like Netflix or something. I loved the hell out of it. The acting was perfect in my opinion.
Myself, along with everyone, agrees that like the acting was great. I can't tell if Bianca had real tears, but she made an actor crying believable. Like live, we see it on movies, they can do takes and all that, but this is live. And she did it perfectly well. And it broke my suspicions on Bianca, but they're still kind of there, since Naomi pretty much gave us the answer that, yeah, I did it. And in her words, quit being a bitch, Bianca. I don't know if in my time watching WWE, Naomi has had heel tendencies. This is probably her best recently. I don't know where they're going to go with this feud, since Bianca, we'll talk about that, is going to be obviously facing Io Sky at WrestleMania, and potentially another opponent, but we'll get into that. And I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know what it's looking like for Jade. Jade comes out and messes her up once again. This time Bianca's like, oh well, you told me the truth, and I see how you view my friend, and obviously you're jealous of the spotlight. I think it was a great segment. I really do think it was, and I'm really excited for this feud, and hopefully this Friday we get more answers of what's going to happen, and if there's getting close to a WrestleMania match. So
yeah, Jade's outfit was also pretty cool. like the whole
Yeah,
like blood like kind of splatter like effect that it had,
it was like a
and also the best part of the acting to me was when Bianca, sorry, Naomi's getting hit with the jaded and she yells for Bianca. Like that was
yeah.
just all.
The funny thing is yeah, that outfit was clean. It felt like like a Bloody Mary kind of outfit, or like pretty much to me some reason it's just someone who's out for blood or there's bad blood in pay per view. It'd be cool if this went all the way to that if they have it again this year.
Ooh.
Yeah, it pretty much resembles to me like there's some purity there. Like the white, they always sometimes there's resemblances in colors in WWE as for themes and stuff. Obviously, when a heel turns heel, they either, well, in John Cena's case, he kept the same colors, but in a heel, will usually like wear black or use red, or even for the Judgment Day, it was purple. Any kind of dark kind of colors, and it felt like to me. The white is like the purity, and all that blood splatter is just like she's out for vengeance. She's out for blood. No more Miss Nice Cargill. I think it's going to be an actual probably be bloodbath. I don't know if they're going to like be in a stipulation like a no holds barred, but them just being in a singles match is not enough for this feud. There's got to be some stipulation that's like at least a street fight or something. I'm excited for
I
it.
agree.
Well, okay, so if we're on SmackDown from last week, LA Knight, he reclaimed the title. He defeated Anakin Shinsuke, Anakin Nakamura. It's upsetting, really, and I know for you it is because you love Shinsuke, but the direction they went with his heel turn and his title reign, I think they just wanted a reason to give him another belt and didn't know what to do with him afterwards.
They fumbled my boy. They fumbled him so hard, bro.
Gave the dude an
Like
awesome
what?
entrance, amazing. I mean, the outfit is cool. It's an homage to pretty much a Sith Lord, Anakin Skywalker. A great theme, a great entrance. Had potential there, and then it started falling off. And then now that they don't know what to do, now it's dropped back to LA Knight, and I don't know what's going on there. I haven't paid too close attention to what like his next feud could be. It's weird, but yeah, I was skeptical and I was thinking, are they going to let Shinsuke have his flowers this time, or are they going to do the same shit? And they did the same shit.
Yeah, like what? I don't understand, bro. People love Shinsuke. I love Shinsuke. He's like one of my favorite wrestlers, and they repackaged him in an excellent way. And then as soon as he gets the title, it feels like they just gave him it for no reason. It feels like they gave him it to give LA Knight a break just so he could come back a few months later and take it again. Like, what are we doing here, man?
It could have been a phenomenal title reign. I don't think they believed that they had enough people to for him to defend it against. Is like he had a lot. You had Carmelo Hayes, you got Andrade, you got so many good SmackDown contenders. Even you could have brought Santos Escobar back out. Like you could have gotten anyone to take that title, and they didn't go with it. They were just like, yeah, we'll let this feud run. We'll let him win the title. It felt like a Jay situation to me. It's like, yeah, he can take it from Braun, but then Braun's going to get it right back just so we can say, hey, Jay won a singles title. And then it's like, oh, yeah, Shinsuke won a singles title since forever ago. I can't remember the last time he's been champion. And I think it was NXT. I don't even know if he had a main roster championship.
He's had main roster
Yeah,
championships quite
it's
a
just
few.
been it's like it's a blur to me. It's been so long. That's why I forgot like Naomi won a belt because it's been so long. And these also happened during eras that were kind of not good in people's eyes, like the 2017, 2018 era was a blur because of like pandemic era also, but he deserves
Yeah,
better.
but
And I wouldn't be
Shinsuke
surprised
was over.
I wouldn't be surprised if he went back to New Japan or something or any of the Pro Japan
Oh,
wrestlings. It's just or NXT even. It'd be cool if I saw him in an NXT feud where it actually made sense, but they massacring the boy.
I feel like WWE nowadays, I think it's just Triple H is booking. They can't book a supernatural character well for some reason.
No,
Triple H just struggles with it. Wyatt Six, Shinsuke was kind of a supernatural character. Like they just Triple H just for some reason cannot figure out a way to book a good supernatural character.
It's because that trope was so already been taken by Bray and even the Undertaker and Kane back in the day. Vince, regardless of like how some people don't understand his creative choices, the creation of the Undertaker. Well, he had help, of course. You had Bruce Pritchard back there. You had a lot of people back there helping him on creative, but for that character alone, the supernatural element lasted with him for the past 35 plus years. And finding another character like that, to be honest here, Bray Wyatt was that runner up to be the next Undertaker like character. And he even had his own creative powers on it. And then now with the Wyatt Six, it's not just because the supernatural's not working, it can work. There's too many of them. You instead of marinating us with like, oh, here's Uncle Howdy, let him come out here do some segments. No, they threw the faction at us all at once, and then they led to a nice, feud with the Final Testament, and then they're gone now. So now we don't know what's going on with Wyatt Six. They got moved to SmackDown, haven't showed up since. Now we have Alexa Bliss. Speaking of that, Alexa Bliss is back. Woo! I mean, we talked about that, but her on SmackDown pretty much is being shown that she is going to be joining them. The glitches and stuff are showing up on screen. We're thinking there's going to be a segment with them. There hasn't been yet. It's been 2 weeks since she's been back, so we can give it time, but people are losing interest in the Wyatt Six. I have noticed they've kind of been doing some house shows that are not taped. They've come out to do some small things, but they haven't been live. I really want Bray's legacy to continue, but in this way, I don't like it.
Yeah, I think they're waiting until at least after Mania to try and reintroduce the White Six. But to your point of bringing them out as a faction, I mean, I don't know. That seems kind of counterintuitive because they did that with Bray Wyatt when he first debuted on the main roster,
Yeah, that he
right?
did come out. Yeah, he can. I mean, it was a smaller, the Wyatt family. Yeah, he was obviously the main focus, but it's like it threw. It just kind of was a different shift when it all came together. It was good to see them, but when you had the Bloodline on SmackDown as a faction, obviously they weren't going to go for the Bloodline right away. You didn't. You had the Final Testament to sort of counteract that, which could have kept going, but then the appearances started getting limited. Like they stopped completely. Like after they did all the videotapes of like their backstories of why they're doing what they're doing, and then the lore stopped happening, the storylines, and then they just automatically they won that match against the Final Testament. Oh no, it was the American Made. They won that match, and then I can't remember, were they beaten by the Final Testament in that
Yeah,
match they
he
had?
lost.
Yeah, they lost. So after that, we didn't know where things were going. And then months later, Final Testament members get released, Paul Ellering and the AOP, and then the storyline just drops out of nowhere. The storyline with Miz and Cross is not even happening anymore. He's back to his basics, but he's not with him anymore. And Cross is also being interesting. We'll talk about him probably in a smaller part, but because that's an interesting one. I like the way he's doing his storyline. I wish he would wrestle, but yeah, just the why. There's just so much with all these people, and they don't know what they're doing. And I really hope that if Alexa is a part of the group, she brings it back to life in some way.
Yeah, I actually just kind of thought of a way that the White Six possibly could have worked even better
Hmm.
is instead of like introducing them as a faction, like you said, because the issue with having a faction is you can't go after single people. At least that's what they interpreted it as.
Right.
So they wanted everybody in the faction to go after people. But if let's say you brought Uncle Howdy first, and then you show Uncle Howdy like corrupting everybody who joins the Wyatt Six, like in with matches and with like backstage segments with them and like delving into their minds with like cool video packages, like kind of what they did when they were introducing them, but instead they're already like normal wrestlers kinda, and then Uncle Howdy corrupts them and makes them join him. Not corrupt really, but you know.
That would be a good angle. Yeah, that would be a good angle. It's pretty much what Karrion Cross is doing. He's slowly corrupting people everyone that he talks to. I want to get into that in a bit because I love the angle that they're going with him. It's so cool.
Let's just
Yeah,
get into it now.
well, I mean, I guess I'll get into it. Pretty much, Karrion Cross is the devil on everyone's shoulder right now. He is the devil in disguise, even though he clearly is, obviously the devil in front of them. But he, his angle that he's going for right now, I like the whole mimicking the hairstyles every time he's talking to someone to kind of like mirror them of like what they could become, like villains or heels. And I hope it's leading up to something because I watch a couple of YouTubers on the insiders with this stuff about the WWE stuff, and like they're hoping that I'm hoping that it leads to something bigger and he gets involved in like matches and stuff because we haven't seen him wrestle probably since that Final Testament match, and I just want to see him wrestle again because he's really great in the ring. But I like the storyline that they're building, and I feel like at some point it's going to clash with all these people who have turned heel, and someone's going to probably realize that he's this cause of it, and there's going to be probably matches and stuff. I really like it. It's a very creative because they're finally using him right too. It's a very creative way to turn good guys heel, and he's doing just that. But the mimicking of the hairstyles and the look is so cool, and he's trying to get that on AJ Styles as well. And he returned recently as well. Did we talk about that? The
Uh,
Did he return the week after Elimination Chamber, or did he
we
return?
returned at Royal Rumble.
He returned at Royal Rumble. Okay, so we've already seen him, and now he's going to be in a feud with Logan Paul. Man, oh man, I'm actually excited for that match. I'm actually excited for that match, and I'm glad AJ's got his rep back. But on
Yeah,
that,
I
the
think
Wyatt Six definitely need a rebranding or something or a resurgence. But the Karrion
yeah,
Cross angle is great.
yeah. Alexa Bliss would help because she's one of the best women, if not the best woman on the mic. But you know, let's move on here. Let's
Mhm.
see. Is there anything else from that SmackDown?
From that SmackDown, I don't think there was much. Oh well, Cena. Did we talk about Cody calling out Cena? No, we didn't talk about that.
Hmm.
Great segment for Cody. Cena wasn't there. Cody came out, gave us a nice little story of like, oh, what do you tell your daughter? Why you got hit in the eye? And he pretty much brings up, I had to lie to her because why would I tell her that her hero gave up? Which is a great, powerful sentence because Cena's motto is to never give up, and the man gave up and gave into the dark side, if you will. Funny enough, his funny enough, his Instagram is crazy. He literally reposted the oh, if you die a
The
hero or
Heartbreak
you live
Kid.
long enough to see yourself become the villain from Dark Knight. He's keeping us entertained with this. I think he even reposted Palpatine's face. Pretty much he's eating into it, but the segment was amazing. And then fast forward that next Monday, I think it is the next Monday, yes. Cena Cena comes out as the heel. It's weird though because he has his original theme. He's still wearing his jorts and his shirt and his hat. Of course, this time he walks down to the ring instead of running. Delivers the heel promo of a lifetime, of a generation that people have been waiting for the last 15 plus years. I felt like I failed him, dude. I felt like I failed him. Him speaking that way, even calling there's a that memes going around now where he called out that little kid and that little kid's face is
The
everywhere now.
Heartbreak Kid. Yeah, that's what people are
Yes.
calling
They're
him,
calling him the
dude. The
Heartbreak Kid.
John
Yeah.
Cena Heartbreak Kid, dude.
Dude, it was a phenomenal. It was hard at first to take him seriously because Cena has done these promos before where he gets loud and his voice breaks. We know that when he's like in the fight mode, but he calls the fans sons of bitches. He he tells us we failed him. We didn't give a damn about him. It really hit me in the feels. Like I'm not saying I almost cried, but it hit me in the feels, and I was understanding some of the points that he made were valid for sure. But
All you do is take,
yeah,
take, take, take. You never give me anything.
he delivered it very well. And people were, because when he first almost turned heel, which was supposed to be during his first fight with The Rock, it was corny and cheesy, so they just gave up on it. The whole thing they tried to do when Kane returned back in 2012, they were trying to get him to turn heel. Kane's whole thing was to, you're going to give into the dark side. Even Bray did that during their Firefly Funhouse match in WrestleMania. The seeds were planted there. It just took them a very long time. And now we have heel Cena, and I think this is the best way to do it. The best angle to go is the whatever the fans want. I don't give a damn. You're not going to get what you want. That's a heel right there. And he name dropped heel and babyface in a scripted segment. Rock has dropped the word heel and babyface, and even Triple H has once. And people were like, "Oh, what the? You can't do that." Kayfabe has been dead for a while. We both know that. But throwing it into a promo like that is ballsy. But he's like, "I'm not a babyface. I'm not a heel. I'm a human being. I'm doing this for me." And I like that. I
So,
like they blend the reality and they break the reality, but also pull it back in like that. Stellar heel work, I think. And I want to root for him for his 17th, but I'm also going to be against him. It's a weird year, dude. This feels like I'm in a dream. It feels like I'm in
yeah,
a dream.
yeah. God damn, bro. John Cena. I've been watching wrestling for around a year now.
Right.
I've seen a lot of things. I've watched a lot of promos, a lot of matches from before I started watching. That is the greatest promo I've ever seen. No joke. I loved that promo. That promo was one of the most like emotional, like just so justified promos ever. It felt justified. Him turning heel felt justified. And John Cena is so good on the mic. He was there in Brussels, right? The crowd was
Yeah.
electric. Crowd made that 1,000 times better than it already was. But John Cena is so good on the mic. He buries the crowd, bro. By the end of that segment, the crowd doesn't really know what to say. They're just kind of like lost. They're silent for some of it because they're like, "Fuck, he got us. He fucking he torched us on the mic, bro." John Cena beat a crowd on the mic. I don't think anybody has ever done that before. And John Cena is just so damn good. In my opinion, best mic worker of all time. Always
One
has
of the
been.
yes, one of the he's
I
he's
mean,
he's in my top 5 because I got to give flowers to Miz in there as well with his promos. But I know John has been above Rock and Miz for me. Like Rock can kill you on the mic, but Cena, like during that first feud that they had, Cena embarrassed him. Cena said some personal shit that he wasn't supposed to say for some things, but Cena can bury people on the mic. Like I know it's like bury's a negative
solo in
term, and
theory.
yeah, like bury's a negative term in WWE because it's like if you buried him, then it's like because people didn't like the whole Super Cena angle back in the day because like he would bury good stars. That's why most of the time they hated him. But this time it's different because he's actually been losing a lot, so now he's here to take on his own, and he doesn't give a shit. I'll tell you this: once they got to the "fuck you, Cena" chance, it was done. He was
Yeah.
in. He was in. Not even that. The na 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 na. Hey hey goodbye. That hasn't happened in a while. I haven't heard that shit in a while since the last time there was. I think it was Eddie Guerrero's. I don't know. I can't remember Vicky's relation to him. Vicky Guerrero's. The last time I heard that shit is when she got fired. Fired. And that's when they did that shit. And they probably happened afterwards. But man, hearing that, you are a natural born heel. Not natural born, but you are a natural heel at that moment. They don't give a damn if he's retiring now. They're like, he's like, I'm leaving. This is my last year. And they're like, all right, bye. And then it's also Brussels. It's like, well, it's a different. The American crowd, I don't know how they're going to react. The Brussels crowd, any foreign crowds act differently because they don't see this shit every day in their country. But I'm excited for what the American fans are gonna, do because I know they're already gonna go crazy. But fuck you, Cena. and hey, hey, goodbye, you've already solidified yourself as a heel. They hate him. And I'm also that kind of person right now, and I don't know how to feel. I'll be playing 2K and I see his face, I'm like, fuck you. I literally do it. I don't know. It
I
works on me
know.
because because you know
I've
me,
seen it.
like you and most of my friends know me, like he is a I say hero. Hero is a subjective in a way in a word, but more like childhood idol or someone you looked up to because he was so cool in the ring. You loved wrestling growing up. I had his action figures. I always played him in the video games. I was always rooting for him. It hurts. It really does because you want to chant for him because it's his last year, but then it's like he's being a bitch right now. He hates us. He's mad at us. I can't help but hate him because he thinks that we don't care about him, but we have, you know? And it's like coming out to that theme song that's like so nostalgic and such a good theme, and he's a bad guy and he doesn't care what you think. It's like it takes a toll on you. Even if it's scripted wrestling, it still hits you in the feels.
Yeah. Um, Booing is the cheering for him right now.
Yeah.
What you want to do is he wants people to boo because that's how you show respect for John Cena right now. That's how you show you love what John Cena has done as a worker, what he's doing as a heel now. He's so good that booing is the right response. Cheering is kind of disrespectful in a type of way when you really think about it because he
Right.
doesn't want to be cheered right now. He wants to be booed. But when talking about international crowds, America, be fucking ashamed. Y'all suck ass. So does Canada. But like,
He's a Canadian, by the way, so I mean, please be nice in the comments. He's, I will admit, yeah, our country's crowds are kind of need to step up their game in stuff because
they're ass.
I can't remember what state it was that they were in, or like somebody returned and their reaction was low. Something I can't remember. Sometimes there's big moments that happen, and I think sometimes the American crowd either forgets who someone is or just doesn't understand the significance of why it's a great moment. It's weird to me, but I think when these big moments happen in foreign countries, like I said, they don't see it all the time. They don't get it all the time like the states do. But I'm glad that they are doing the foreign tour, or if it's a European tour, I'm not sure what it's called, but I'm glad that they're doing it to give them some more, places to go. But yeah, American crowds and potentially Canadian crowds in a way, like the North American, they kind of got to step up their game with the
Yeah.
reactions a little bit. I think it's just because they see it so many damn times. They're like, "Yay!" But
Yeah, they should be ashamed of themselves, bro. Canadian American crowds, North America, the crowds are so like bad, and Saudi Arabian crowds used to be bad too, but now they're good. Now they're
oh
amazing.
no, they're
Like,
amazing now. They're amazing now. They're well because at first when they first were there, like a couple of years, they were like, but now there's a big deal there, and it's like you're getting 2 Saudi shows a year. Now they get to see more. I don't know how I feel. Like I'm not. I'm all for international now, but I don't know about having some of the big three or even the big four in another country. I'm not saying we should gatekeep. It's weird to me, but
but why though?
it's like why? Because they already got their own show. They got Crown Jewel, and then
No,
they
I'm
got
saying, why
they.
do you think that it should only be America
I don't know.
for like the big
I'm like
four?
so used. I guess because maybe I'm so used to them having their big shows over here. It's weird to just change it that way because there's some people who are kind of getting an opportunity lost. Because, like I said, Saudi does get 2 shows a year because they're probably going to get Royal Rumble and then also Crown Jewel or King of the Ring. I don't think they're going to do King and Queen this year because they kind of like,
Pretty sure they confirmed that they get Royal Rumble.
huh?
I'm pretty sure they're getting Royal Rumble in 2026. I
Yeah,
think it was
they're
confirmed.
getting Royal Rumble. They're getting Royal Rumble, but I know they're probably going to get two. They get 2 pay-per-views a year. They're not going to get King and Queen of the Ring this year because they kind of do that to every 2 to 3 years. They don't do it back to back like that. They like wait a while, but because now they also going to have it that every year they have a at Crown Jewel you're going to have champion versus champion, and they're going to keep that. Which by the way, that title is useless as hell. It will always be because you don't see it; they keep it. It's made from their gold, so it's not going to be taken by us.
I
But
forgot it existed until you just mentioned
yeah,
it.
it's a blur because Gunther won it, and
No, Cody and Liv.
oh, Cody and Liv. Yeah, okay. I thought Gunther won it. But it was like it's useless. But you know they're going to get 2 pay-per-views a year, and I think they confirmed Royal Rumble is going to be 2 nights next year. Or no? Is that?
Uh,
I don't think they did.
no,
No, we,
no.
we I think you and I gave the conversation that 2 nights would be justified because they can add more matches and then have either one Royal Rumble a night or differently. But I think that could work since you could have the men's and the women's like in a different night and have more matches. But you don't want to give too many. There's so many pay-per-views to do 2 nights, and SummerSlam is getting 2 nights this year. Wow,
Yeah.
2 WrestleManias, 2 SummerSlams. Wow. But it's just weird. I don't know. It's just because I guess like the big three and then the American crowds, they're kind of missing out. But I mean, I guess that was
Yeah,
in
but
their
the
deal where,
international crowds are missing
yeah,
out.
yeah, that is true. But I believe it's kind of good in a way. There's some people that make too big of a deal of it. I'm not trying to say like we should gatekeep it, but it's weird to me. But hmm,
I personally want a WrestleMania in France. I do. I was kind of sad when they announced that the next WrestleMania is going to be in America again. I want a European WrestleMania. It's like I feel like it would just be like 80 times better with the crowd. Like I don't know,
yeah,
man.
because
I just
wasn't
want it.
Backlash in France last year?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I
And
think,
that
and they're not going.
best crowd.
They're not going to it this year. I think they're going to. I think it's either. I think it was either Pennsylvania or St. Louis. I can't remember. But I know one
No,
location was confirmed for St. Louis, and I knew who's from St. Louis. But I'm not going to say much on that. That's just speculation.
no. Backlash is like always going to be in foreign countries from now on. I'm pretty sure,
Okay.
but I think they already announced where Backlash is going to be this year, but I don't know where. So I don't
Okay.
remember off the top of my head.
Well, it was going to be. There was one location that was going to be Spain, and they changed it, and I heard St. Louis. So
It is
I
St.
could
Louis.
be
Damn.
Missouri. So yeah, I heard someone, or no, someone said Mexico, but it was a rumor from all the sports insiders. I was like, well, you can't. You always take those with a grain of salt. Or don't take them with a grain of salt. You can't always believe them because there's some of them that spread false rumors, and there's a lot of that. Unless WWE is to say, hey, because they always show like, oh, these are where these shows are going to be. Unless they show it, I don't believe anybody, pretty much.
Yeah.
But well, I'll tell you one thing. The Chelsea Green allies with Alba Fire to make the
Um,
Secret Service or whatever the name you called it.
Secret Hervis.
The Secret Service?
No, no, no. Secret Hervis.
Secret Hervis. Is that what they call it? Or is that your nickname for it?
I'm pretty sure that's what they call it.
Huh. Well,
I like to add a secret.
yeah,
But
well, yeah, I tell you this. I kind of find that interesting. Now she's going to have a faction at Alba Fire. And because they didn't know what to do with Alba Fire now. She lost Isla Dawn, so what are you going to do with her? But it's not it's not abnormal for WWE to put a American kind like faction with 2 Brits or 2 Europeans. They've done that before. I remember when they had a faction with Sheamus and it was like different
we
other
got
different other people like European like factions and I was like okay. But I was like all right, cool. That's all I got to say for that. That was cool. Now
it.
she's got a
Yeah, I don't know.
faction, but
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, we've already seen a bit of it, but
yeah. Well, I guess we should
um,
get into the other meat. Well, yeah, it was the another thing for the last Raw. Roman Reigns is back. I don't even know if we talked about that. Did we talk about that? Did he?
no, we
No,
did
no.
not.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he returned 2 weeks after Elimination Chamber. Seth Rollins and Punk did their own spiel. They were in the steel cage match.
Great match, by the way.
Great match. Great match. I had a feeling the ending wasn't going to end on a great note. Well, not end on a great note, but like, win.
Shenanigans.
Yeah. But yeah, Roman came back, choked out Seth, pulled him out, and he gave him a stomp of his own. Gave him the Superman stomp, if you will. And I believe this is setting up for a triple threat because
Easily.
Roman caught eye of him, over there making sure Punk was okay. Roman was like, "What the hell is this? Why is my wise man?" Runs in there, obviously attacks CM Punk, and this is definitely leading to that. And this was 2 weeks on Raw. This last past week on Raw, Seth came out and he's pretty much calling both of those dudes out, and he's supposed to show up this Friday, which I think is going to be awesome because I always like seeing these three dudes in the ring. There's like history and tension there because Punk has really good history, well, really bad history with those two, given of the Shield near the end of Punk's tenure. Before he left, he was dealing with the Shield. He even had to put over Roman, but still, make Roman look tough. There's interviews I've seen, and even there's history with Seth, but there's a lot going on, and I think that I think it's gonna be interesting feud for sure.
Yeah.
But
Sierra, Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, Shield.
no, I think it's gonna be very interesting. But
yeah, wait, before we talk about anything else, we need to talk about this absolute menace and asshole that is putting shame on Chad Gable's name. Who the hell is this masked assailant that's running around making it seem like it's American Made's fault, okay? Because it's not. Everyone who's saying it's Chad Gable, you're all stupid.
no, it's Chad, brother.
It is not Chad, okay?
Dude, listen. There's obviously two dudes. There's a body double. I think speculation. I think it's Ray Phoenix. Could be because that's Penta's brother. Even though he's not attacking Penta, he's attacking Ray. I think it's Ray Phoenix, but I think in some of the moments it's Chad Gable. And Chad Gable returned in the most weirdest way possible. Dude showed up backstage with no sort of like announcement or anything. He's just there and
That's
he's like,
because he doesn't want to reveal his secrets
brother,
that he
it's
learned,
him.
man.
I don't know what to tell
It's
you.
not him.
If you think
are
it's
mental.
all right,
You're
everyone prove
absolutely
this
crazy.
guy wrong that it's Chad
Oh
Gable
my god.
in the comments
okay,
right
here,
now.
listen. How do you have any more proof that's Chad Gable and not Braun Strowman?
You think it's Braun Strowman?
No, but I'm just giving an example here. Listen, Chad Gable, we have no evidence that he can speak Spanish, okay? That luchador, that masked assailant, can't speak Spanish. You hear it. He says, gracias. That's not Chad Gable. We don't know he can speak Spanish.
He said it in the most American way possible. He also has an American-made mask on.
Yeah, someone's trying to
He
frame Chad Gable.
No. He wore the same outfit, same jacket. He hit them with his German.
Framed.
So he hit him with the German suplex on the mat in the same way Chad
Yes.
Gable does. You can't replicate that.
Almost every wrestler can hit a German suplex,
telling me
man.
That he said, dude, he did his peace signs just like Chad Gable.
I've never seen Chad Gable do a peace sign.
Thank you. Do you not remember that? He used to do that all the time.
I do not know. But
you're in denial.
Listen,
there's some delusions here.
I'm not in denial.
Tell me
it's not Chad Gable. You know what? You're gonna
type Krodok is a delusional in the chat in the comments. Type Krodok is delusional.
My god!
I want to see how many people do it. God. Moving on from that, we'll figure it out who it is, and I'll prove. You know what? I'll be the winner of whatever this competition I'm making up is. I'll prove you wrong. Triple threat probably confirmed, but what could it be? So apparently there was a scuffle, or whatever you want to call it. Io, Bianca, Rhea. So obviously Bianca is the sole winner of the Elimination Chamber, and then pretty much the Monday after that, Io wins because Bianca's interference. Still didn't get disqualified, but I guess they didn't want to go out like that. So Io Sky is the current women's world champion, and now Bianca is her opponent at WrestleMania. But Rhea is salty and childish. Charlotte was right, and she wants to be at the main event as well, or even if it will be a main event. But I'm sure it probably will be for probably night one, which I wouldn't be against. And now she wants to be
Yeah,
involved.
true.
She gets in there. She gets into a scuffle. She headbutts Bianca, throws her on the table, slams Io on the table. I think it was botched. That table probably should have broken. It didn't. And then she takes the contract. She signs it herself, and Adam Pearce is barking in her ear behind her. That's not how that works, which I like that because in the past, if they signed a contract, it would be the match. Now they're breaking that cycle that it's not going to
Finally
happen.
figured out how
They
law
literally
works.
yelled at her back. They're like, that's not how it works. So it's not confirmed. It may be confirmed. We all know
It's
Adam Pearce. It's probably is. We all know Adam Pearce. He gets tired of their shit and he gives in. That's why Nick Aldis is better. Ooh, careful what I
I
say.
mean, I called this before Elimination Chamber.
Yeah,
That's the triple threat.
and it's
So
like I kind of am disliking it, obviously because there's obviously like two triple threats going to happen in WrestleMania, and one of them's not even going to be a
possibly
championship
three.
match because we're going to possibly three because we're getting definitely getting Punk, Roman, and Seth, and then probably those three. I don't know what the others would be.
I think maybe there's an IC title triple threat, but I kind of hope not.
I think so, yeah, because people were thinking, well, I had a speculation that it could be a ladder match. There's a lot of people that have wanted bronze title, and they've all come up short and lost. I would not be surprised if they try to get the people who have lost to Braun to win it again. Like get Sheamus in there, get Penta, get Ludwig Kaiser, get Finn even. I know Finn's probably going to get a match at WrestleMania, and I wouldn't be mad if he won that title at WrestleMania to like
I
get
would.
his. But I'd need him to defend the title. You would be mad?
Yeah.
Why so? Is just because of how he's been, or you just don't care anymore for him?
Uh, well, just before that, I don't think it would be a ladder match because I think the SmackDown Tag Team titles is going to be a ladder match.
That's true. Speaking of, I bring the swag like nobody. Yeah. The Street Profits have struck gold after I can't remember the last time they had gold, but they are now.
1 year, 2 years.
It's been 2. It probably has been 2 years because I think they didn't they have them before the
Yeah.
Usos beat them.
I don't know.
It was one. I think it was one. I can't remember what team held them at the time. They're probably not even around anymore, but they now are the SmackDown tag team champions, and I already probably know that they're gonna. They might have a ladder match for sure, or they will defend it against either DIY or Motor City Machine Guns. Um, I'm not. I didn't know. I'm not looking too closely to those feuds. I don't. I should be though, but it's kind of good to see them have gold again because it's been a while and they've been heel face. They don't know what they are anymore. I don't know what they are, but I'm guessing they're face because people were cheering.
No, they're heel.
They're heel. Okay. I
Mhm.
think people were excited for that, but yeah, they're still heel. Even though it's weird when they helped DIY win, retain. It's so weird to me, but I think they just wanted that gold for themselves, obviously. But good to see them with the titles for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking. Looks like the last time they won a tag championship was in 2020.
Ooh,
So
that might have been
yeah.
Raw tag team then because I think
No, the
was it
Raw
SmackDown.
one was 2019, I believe.
Okay, so yeah, they had gold back to back. So yeah, they were definitely pushed a little bit in the pandemic era.
Pandemic era.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of that, like yeah, Penta, he's definitely eyeing it up. People, I don't know. Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know if that one's gonna be a one on one because, like I said, the ladder match could happen, but it could go into triple threat. It could go into fatal four way. There could be more contenders added to this because there's multiple people who want bronze title, and even so, they could probably put that to the test that either Braun retains and wrecks everyone, or someone takes his title and
Dom,
he's moving
Dom,
up for more.
Dom, Dom,
Dom could enter
Dom,
it. I
Dom.
have a feeling like the way the tension between Dom and Finn is right now, which is really heavy there. Dom could be a contender. Dom could
Did
definitely
you
be
not
a
see how he
contender.
was looking at that title, bro?
He was looking at it
Just
really well.
saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like Eddie.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
want him to win so bad at WrestleMania.
He
Give
deserves.
my boy a title.
He does deserve another title. Like I'm glad that they had him, get the North American and have his flowers with that. But a main roster title, World Heavyweight Championship, and it's gonna definitely bring him closer to, well, World Heavyweight Championship probably, but IC for right now, World Heavyweight, I could see him in that scene. He just needs to put I think he needs to get closer to face, and I think he will if whatever happens with Finn.
He's
You
charismatic, man.
you still have Liv there, so it's gonna be hard to turn her face right now. She's kind of a background character right now because yes, she's a tag team champ.
Which is
One,
sad,
which is
bro.
sad. They haven't defended that title yet. Oh wait, have they? No, they
No,
have
they
not.
haven't
No,
because
they
there's
have
no one
not.
to defend them
No,
against.
there's
There's
no
no
one to.
women's tag teams
Yeah,
like right now.
yeah, because he broke up Bianca, and even though Bianca and Jade, they got broken
They
up, so it's
released
like,
Isla.
yeah, they just lost, and you don't have, you have technically have Shayna and Zoe Stark, but we don't know what PFC's they're done for because Sonya's gone, but they have their plans probably. They have their plans. I definitely can't not see Liv Morgan at WrestleMania because she pretty much is one of the main stars besides Rhea in the women's division.
She had like the best 2024 of all the women.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, all because of an injury, but she still did it very well. She still did it very well. It really helps a little. It really helped redeem her first title run when she won Money in the Bank because it was like it was good, but she still needed that development. This helped her a lot. I loved it. It definitely is awesome. So
Yeah, I'm scared for. I don't know if she'll be on the WrestleMania card, brother. Like, I can't see it unless they do a women's tag team match. But when you're looking at that, I don't think a women's tag team match kind of deserves to be on WrestleMania because the whole reason it was even getting on PLEs in the first place was because Bianca was holding it.
yeah, yeah, for sure. NXT. Hmm.
Yeah, last week Roadblock.
Roadblock. Yeah. Do you want to? Well, I know I know the decision on it was kind of like not yours, but do you want to say it or do you want me to?
Sure. I mean, I'm just gonna run to the main event here. Stephanie two belts. Now listen, I think it's cool. We haven't had double champion in quite a while. First women's double
Yeah.
champion in NXT ever. So that's cool. But man, listen, I'm biased because I love Julia way more. I think it should have been Julia, but I understand them going with Stephanie. I heard Julia was injured, so that's why
Yeah.
they did it.
Yeah. It was insane. Yeah, it was pretty much insane because yeah, we've had so many two belts in NXT, but the first women's that's gonna make her a dominant character for a very long time. People are gonna be eyeing both of those belts now. It's gonna be very interesting.
Depends on next
I
week.
can already tell Stand and Deliver is gonna be insane, whatever it may be. There's she's not dropping them anytime soon. I know that for a fact because her indies track record, she's held like two wherever she's went. She's that big of a star. I already knew they were going to treat her well when she came in. They're going to treat Julia well because Julia was NXT champion. They're going to treat her well also because they both have great backgrounds and track records. Just at this time, it made sense. They wanted to drop that belt to someone, but they didn't probably want to drop it to someone because a lot of people could say, oh, could have went to Cora Jade, it could have went to back to Roxanne, even though Roxanne is really involving herself in main roster stuff with Bailey right now until WrestleMania season's over. I still have a feeling Roxanne's going to be at Stand and Deliver. I don't think she's going to go to WrestleMania with anything. Uh,
Look, it couldn't have been Cora Jade because she just won a TNA
Yeah,
championship. So,
I didn't put that in my notes, but yeah, that's the first ever WWE superstar that has won a title in another brand. That I didn't think there were. Well, in a while, it might have happened because of the TNA merger. You always think they're never gonna, drop a title belt in WWE, or they're gonna drop it. But now Cora Jade has that title, and now that makes me think, with stuff like Joe Hendry going on, like Joe Hendry could win a belt maybe from the WWE, would be an insane thing to see. I just blew
speaking
my mind
of,
because I didn't think they could take the titles.
yeah, it blew my mind too. Speaking of Joe Hendry, a lot of people are saying that's going to be Jay's mystery partner when on Monday, I think.
Yeah, I don't think that's
I
the
don't see it.
case. I don't think that's the case at all. I wouldn't be surprised if it. Yeah, because his main roster stuff. Because yeah, the merger is still going, but it's mainly NXT, and then they'll show up on PLEs like Royal Rumble. No, Joe Hendry doesn't make sense to me.
I
It's
would
gotta
hate if it's Joe Hendry.
it's gotta be it's gotta be someone who's been injured and isn't has been gone a while that I can't remember.
It's just going to be Damien.
Damian Priest.
Yeah, it's just going to be Damien Priest.
I
Why
mean,
wouldn't it be?
honestly,
Like,
yeah, because I can't think of anyone because the match is just Grayson Waller in theory, right?
yeah.
See, that's the thing, and we're gonna bring this up. He did not have to have a squash match with Theory. That made no sense to me whatsoever. Listen, I'm all for, in some ways, for Yeet Mania. I want him to have that belt, even though Saturday Night's main event kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Like, why make him lose if he's going to win at Mania? And then the Gunther feud is just so dry to me. 2 weeks in a row, Gunther comes out, gets the best of him, chokes him out. You're not really making him look like a strong champion.
Well, he didn't
I,
get a best one this week.
huh?
He didn't get the best one this
Well, yeah,
week.
not this week. No, I think no, but Jay tried to show that he was strong by defeating Austin Theory. Now, Austin Theory is is a good star, but like to use him as the one to, you need someone bigger, or at least someone who you think that Jay would lose to or has already lost to. You pretty much just had Austin Theory job to Jay, and now next week you have a surprise opponent. They're obviously going to win again. They're obviously going to beat Waller in theory again. I can't think of who it could be. If anything, it would be someone probably who's been injured, who's been out, who we haven't seen in a while. For some reason, my mind thought Ilya Dragunov. It's random. It is random. However, I can't think of anyone at this moment because then I was also thinking who was injured, like Big Bronson Reed, but he's going to be out for a longer time. And, well, we just had War Games and they were on the opposing teams. There's no reason for Bronson Reed. There's no reason for, and if it was Jimmy, they would have just said, hey, it's Jimmy. I don't think they would have done that. And if for a match like that, that's just going to be probably 2 to 3 minutes. I don't know what it could be. But Jay's got connections, so we'll have to see what that is.
Yeah, dude, they just need to let this breathe, man. They started trying to develop this feud too early, in my opinion, because now all they're doing is the same thing week in week, and they're feuding with people to try to build up a feud. They're feuding with people not in the feud to try to build up a feud, and it makes no sense. It doesn't work. Like, stop letting them like get into these physical altercations where it's always just like one person beating the other. Like, just like, what are they doing? Like, freaking just, I don't know, man. Let them just promo each other for a few weeks, for like 1 week, and then just leave it for a while. And then once it's closer to WrestleMania, come back, and then you put the fuel on the fire. Because right now, it's dead. Nobody gives a shit. This is like the worst build up to a match so far. And it definitely doesn't deserve to main event night one. Hell no. Bianca Io that deserves it
Yeah.
more. Roman Punk Seth, that deserves it more. Because nobody cares about this feud. We already had it at Saturday Night's main event. Oh, wait, but Saturday Night's main event isn't canon because nothing that happened at Saturday Night's main event mattered.
Yeah. That's a weird thing about that show that it doesn't matter, even though all of them should. Like, it makes it feel like Saturday Night's main event is the house shows that are not shown live or not taped, because things can happen in the house shows where even if a heel and a babyface hate each other, you'll see them doing segments together that like make them seem like they're best friends or something. I'm pretty sure like one of the house shows when Kevin Owens was doing his thing with Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens had the Winged Eagle belt, but in the house show, Cody had the Winged Eagle belt. He had it or he took it from Kevin, but then when Kevin came on SmackDown, he had the belt again all of a sudden. It's just that's the house shows are never canonical because there's no script. They're just wrestling in front of you, but you know the script that they're the baby face and that's the bad guy. But rarely even title changes happen on house shows. They have happened before, but then immediately the next show I think they get it back or something. It's weird to me, but sometimes if it's very pertaining to the big storyline, they're not going to change. So having a title match on a house show to me in my opinion is pointless because it's not going anywhere. But sometimes when you're the champion and if you have a house show, you got to have something on the line. But I hate to say it, what's crazy is they only really focused on the elimination chambers winners this year. The Tiffany storyline and Charlotte and the Jay and Gunther are the two ones that I'm not caring about. They're not building it up right. It's like Charlotte's that boss or that one final boss or whatever that is on the sidelines, limited appearances. And I could say the same for Cena's limited appearances, but he's making his more interesting than Charlotte is. And then Gunther and Jay is pretty much a recycle. And now they try to make him tough by beating Theory. He's obviously going to win. They're not. I doubt they're going to do him over, do him wrong again at WrestleMania. It's not main event worthy, like you said, and neither is Tiffany and Charlotte. Tiffany and Rhea, I mean, Charlotte and Rhea was more of a main event for WrestleMania 39 than anything. I don't even know if they got that, but it was more of a main event than anything. It's just I'm not excited for the Royal Rumble winner matches. I'm not. It doesn't make it just it's dry.
Yeah. By the way, main events for 39 were the tag title match between Sammy, Kevin, and the
Yeah,
Usos, and
yeah.
then it was Roman.
That was very bloodline focused for both 39 and 40. That's why the others didn't get anything. Because well, because even so, like Cody got a main event twice that night or twice those two nights, which is insane. But yeah, the Bailey didn't even get her main event. She got her match, but it really wasn't main event material either. Like I'm glad she got her title, but I don't think that was main event. I like EO, but it wasn't. There were some botches there, and then she was out for a couple of months afterwards because of her knee. And then her theme song.
Yeah. Tiffy and Charlotte's brawl on last week's SmackDown, that was kind of cool
Yeah, where
at
she
the end.
suicide dived. She
Yeah.
jumped where everyone's watching. I was like, that made it interesting. It's just the recent promos have been weird, and it it's just Charlotte talks so slow, like a villain, and it's just so unenthusiastic, and I'm not hyped for it at all. And that's why I don't see her beating Tiffany because it's not exciting at all for her to win, and then it doesn't make sense to me. Tiffany's doing more action with Trish Stratus than she is against her WrestleMania opponent. I remember
True.
back in the day, dude, when you had a WrestleMania opponent and he was the champion, they showed up every single week before WrestleMania doing their promos, showing them, "Hey, I'm strong." You'd have the champion sitting at ringside every night, watching the contender fighting to show off and say, "Hey, I'm going to beat you at WrestleMania." They don't do that anymore. Cena had like 2 weeks from Elimination Chamber before he showed up. I mean, he was busy, but now he is showing up more and doing more. He did a solo promo more than Charlotte will do. Charlotte just comes out there and is like, "I'm the queen." Woo. And then Tiffany's like, "It's gonna be Tiffy time at WrestleMania, Tiffy Mania, whatever they're calling it." There's not enough interaction between the contenders, and then Gunther is just choking out Jay every time. He didn't this week, but There's no we've already gotten the promo with Jay and Gunther before, so no one wants to hear it again. But I'd like to hear another. At least talk in the ring. Stop, you just show up and choke him out for 5 seconds and then leave. You're not hyping me up at all. You're just making Jay seem weak. And now he's
Yeah.
strong because he beat Theory, who was a mid Carter. He did great.
Um,
He was more. He wasn't as much of a mid Carter in NXT, but when they got to the main roster, yeah. But now him and Grayson are pretty much mid Carters. Wow, you just solidified that you're a mid Carter too, Jay. Like, no hate to him, but like that pretty much made the case.
yeah. Mid card event Jey Uso. That didn't work. That didn't work. But yeah, you get it. You get it.
Mid Carter, yeah.
I mean, A Town Down Under is just a comedy character at this point.
Well, yeah,
So
they don't know what they're doing. I never know if they're going to turn heel or not. It's been so long. It's the same thing with DIY. I thought they were going to turn on each other. I thought A Town Down Under was going to. I don't know anymore. It's
yeah,
the
but DIY
weirdest.
did good with it.
Yeah, DIY did great with it. It's just the weirdest kind of booking at this point. And they were like, well, who can we make Jade look strong to? Oh, Austin Theory. And I'm like, no, taken you could have taken anybody if you think about it. He could have been strong over anyone. Oh well.
Yeah. Yeah, there wasn't a lot that happened on Roadblock. A lot of it was just champions retain and stuff like that. Hardys was cool. Anyway, the SmackDown. I want to talk about a potential WrestleMania match that I'm seeing here. I
Alright.
want to know what you think the U.S. title match will be, but I think it's going to be LA Knight versus Jimmy Uso. That's where I see it going.
That's also,
I'm gonna.
yes. He's getting
I
involved
see
with
it
that too.
like I see a double celebration for both the Usos where they both get a single title. That's what I
That
think's
would
gonna
be
be.
really cool. I honestly could see Jimmy doing that because he is getting involved with the LA Knight stuff. He's also getting involved with Drew because we don't know where he's going. We
Yeah,
don't. Drew is definitely not in the title scene anymore.
Drew. It's Drew versus Damon,
Yeah, it's
obviously.
definitely gonna be Drew versus Damien, which is a match that like I care for and I don't care for at the same
Nobody
time.
wants to. Nobody
I
can.
listen, man. I gotta rise for the rock star. I'm
So
obviously gonna be rooting for Damien because they're probably gonna, do Drew wrong again. I unless they want to give Drew a WrestleMania win. But from the curse of WrestleMania for Drew, he's been doing bad. It's not a WrestleMania match. It's just a rivalry match. It shouldn't be. There's so many matches that deserve to be on the card, and that one is just a rivalry match. That could be like a bad blood match, pretty much. That's why none of Punk or Drew's matches were WrestleMania material. They were supposed to end before we got to this point. And obviously, Roman, Seth, and Punk, yeah, they're WrestleMania material, but they could be somewhere else. But because it's Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, then yeah, but that's not going to be no WrestleMania moment that Punk wants. He's I don't know if he's ever going to get his WrestleMania moment 1 year. I don't know what next year could be for him. If so, it is his year because this is pretty much Cena's year. Who knows? But Damien versus Drew, it'll be cool, but it won't be the I gotta watch this whole thing match.
yeah,
And it's clear as
I
day, it's
know.
probably gonna be Damien.
Yeah, I feel like that's honestly like so far out of all the matches that I see at WrestleMania. I feel like that's the most like, oh, I'm gonna take a piss break here. It's sad. It's sad, dude. Drew was amazing in 2024.
But yeah,
Like,
it's is the thing because I know you love Damien and I know you want Drew to get his get back and start winning again. But for a match that's just a rivalry match and there's nothing to gain from that, but probably a feud that's going to lead into SummerSlam even, or just end at WrestleMania. I need more promos from them. I don't just want us to go into that and there's no promos. We have like I think 25 days or so until WrestleMania, and there's no promos between the two. There's not anything going on. He's over there on SmackDown. Damien's on Raw. You got to get them both together and just if you're gonna have that match, then do it. Talk it out, man. Challenge each other.
yeah,
There's so many matches not confirmed yet,
true.
and
But
I
Yeah,
feel like this coming week will be the week that they start confirming stuff around the week of the 25th and all that. I think that's when they'll start
yeah,
confirming more stuff for sure.
probably. But one thing that I found really interesting with that SmackDown last week was, they were in Barcelona, which awesome crowd again, European crowds, awesome, shocker. Anyway, um, like every single wrestler had a line of Spanish they spoke, which was just kind of like interesting to me.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
No, that was interesting.
I, yeah. And then Cody Rhodes, I like that Cody Rhodes came out, didn't deliver a promo. He just fucking hit the Miz and like said two words and then left. I liked that.
I remember that. I think yeah, Miss TV has become the parody show now. It's just pretty much you come out there, you talk your shit, and then you just you just hurt the Miz for no reason. He's just doing his job. I love
Yeah.
it though. Miz is
Also, oh sorry, go.
no, you're good. I was just saying Miz is the best on like acting and Mike, and I'd love for him to have a belt at some point, but right now there's other people probably, but
Yeah, I mean he's kind of done everything he needs to for with his career, to be
he's a Grand
honest.
Slam
But
champion. He's already done enough. I'm pretty sure he's just happy to be there, to be honest.
yeah, wouldn't hurt to give him some more in the future.
Yeah,
But I do want to talk about Jade Cargill's interview segment she had, where Liv Morgan was like, ah, ha, 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 "Let's fight next week." Anyway,
yeah,
um,
yeah. They're in the
Jade,
arena.
Jade Cargill. I'm be honest, I didn't believe a word she said. She, she's her like talking. I didn't really believe any of it. I don't know. Like, I feel like I need her to actually like convince me more. I need to believe what she's saying. I didn't believe what she was saying.
Yeah, it was a very interesting one, and given the fact that Liv, it's weird to me that Liv is rubbing in her face like, "Yeah, I didn't do it. I told you," and then she says, "Why don't you fall on another car?" I'm like, "Okay, Liv, do you? I get it, you're heel, but do you? What are you right now? Why? I don't know. It's strange to me because if Liv truly didn't do it, then Liv would be like, "I told you so." But then it's also like you ain't got to rub it in because you understand that Jade doesn't blame you, but yet you're antagonizing her. So obviously it's going to lead into a match against you two, which would be a cool match. Definitely cool match. It's just Liv, what are you doing? But that's how a
Well,
heel works.
she said during that she was upset because she was getting blamed the entire time. That's what she said. She was like, "I've been blamed for weeks" or something like that
Yeah, and that's
during
the
the
thing.
thing.
It should be on Bianca and Naomi. It shouldn't be on Jade because Jade didn't know who did it, and Jade wasn't able to point a finger until we saw it Elimination Chamber. So if anything, she should be challenging like Bianca or Naomi to a match and saying, "Yeah, this is you did this," and blah 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 blah. And even they're the people that took the tag titles from them. So
Yeah,
I guess it's a weird thing. I think they're setting up something for Jade and Liv, but it's definitely not going to be a WrestleMania thing. Jade and Naomi will definitely be the WrestleMania.
yeah.
Hopefully.
Um, we talked about how the Street Profits won the tag titles and how that was the main event, right?
Yeah.
But I kind of think that Gunther versus Axiom should have been the main event. I don't know, man.
That
I
was a
That was my
very
favorite match of the night.
that was an
I loved it.
interesting open challenge. I like that he's doing his open challenges, kinda, because a champion should be doing that. Like Cody would do it at some point too, but I it's like not really because the people he's been calling out have shown him like, hey, I'm serious about this, but it's a strange choice. But yeah, Axiom coming out was definitely a surprise, definitely a surprise, and it was really cool. That was a really good dynamic in that match. I enjoyed it for sure.
Well, yeah, I didn't know this, but I saw that they've actually had matches before, so it makes
Yeah,
sense why they had such good
yeah, I think
chemistry.
so. I can't remember where, but they've had matches before. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. Axiom, I mean, they brought him out because he's the hometown boy. That was his hometown and
yeah,
stuff, right? So,
that's
but
what they
damn.
mainly do for some. I hate the trope of that where it's like, oh, they're the hometown hero. They must win. Like they did that with Unholy Union because they were in Scotland. And they're like, we're going to have you both win and then not do anything with it. They had like a couple segments on SmackDown they would show up, but then it
No,
just,
did really good with those
Well,
titles. They did really good.
it's like they did. It's just like you, but in the back of my mind, I knew it wasn't going to last long. And the same thing with like Piper Niven getting her title match with Bailey. It's like you did that because obviously you want that hometown hero match. It's just sometimes I hate when they do that because if the payoff is not going to last long, sometimes I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way because I already know like, oh my God, they won, yay! How long is it going to last? That's the problem for me. And Unholy Union had a lot of potential, but getting released, I think, well, Isla Dawn at least. I don't know what she's doing now, but speaking of released, Indy Hartwell just fought Mercedes Monet. This is in other wrestling
Hey,
news.
really?
They fought in a match. I don't know what the match fully was, but it was a dream match of hers. She's wanted to fight Mercedes, aka Sasha, because growing up, while training, she was inspired by both Bailey and Sasha to wrestle in the
Or
WWE,
Horseman.
and she finally got to wrestle her somewhere. It wasn't AEW, but it was, I think it was an indie match, some promotion, and Mercedes was there because with AEW, I think they also have the thing where you can wrestle anywhere in an indie show, and she was able to do it, and it was a good match. I think Mercedes beat her, but it was still fun to. She had a fun being able to wrestle one of the people who inspired her to become a wrestler. So I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Speaking of wrestlers from other promotions, Ray Phoenix and Malachi / Aleister Black.
Yeah, we saw this past SmackDown. There was a number 4 teased, and then clearly a vignette of Ray Phoenix with orange lightning and, well, a silhouette of him pretty much, his mask, everything, which is crazy because I keep saying I believe that the mask guy, if he's not Chad Gable, like you say, you're delusional.
You're delusional.
I don't know about that, buddy. Listen, anyways. The orange shoes that he's wearing, clearly a Ray Phoenix color. Could be just a nod, could be wrong, but that could be him. Even though the vignette was shown during SmackDown, but that could be anything. And then the 4, which is pretty much in the same kind of font as Aleister Black / Malachi Black. I think it stands for April 4th. I told you this. I think it's going to be April 4th when he shows up. There could be many ways. It could be four shows from now. It's definitely not 4 days from now because it's more than 4 days ago. So he could either, so not this SmackDown, not the next SmackDown, but probably the April 4th edition of SmackDown. He could potentially show up. I had a feeling that maybe he would be teaming up with Zelina, like as for her manager, because that's her man. But then Zelina's getting involved with Chelsea to get her title. That would be I wouldn't care if that title went to Zelina. Zelina has not
I
had
think
a
it will.
main roster belt. I don't know what they're doing with Michin. She
I think
also
that's
is a great contender, but I don't know her promo skills well. Zelina does have good promo skills.
Selena's one of the best.
So to have a champion belt, you do have to be good at promos. That's pretty much one of the rules. Unless you're Brock Lesnar, you had Paul Heyman, but most of the time today, you got to at least be great on the mic in order to. It's hard to say that between like Julie and Stephanie because I know like their accent dynamic and their English is difficult too. They still have that
Well, that's why they're
intimidation.
in.
Yeah, they still have their intimidation factor, so they still have different qualities, but mainly on the main roster, you gotta have some sort of promo skills, even if it's cringe sometimes. You still gotta have that because you have to be the champion instead of defending as the champion too. So Zelina would be a great choice for that, but I think yeah, April 4th, potentially Aleister Black, but we don't know when Ray Phoenix officially reveals himself, which I don't think he would since he wears a mask. He would just pretty much have to wear his gear to like. I feel like I could see him doing a Rey Mysterio thing where he takes off the mask and it's his mask. So that would be the only way they would do that, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think it makes sense to be April 4th because April 4th month it'd be 4/4. So
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Definitely.
Yeah, but kind of talked about like
We
basically
got everything.
everything.
Yeah, we got everything in here. We're not even at 2 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things I do really want to discuss though is Finn Balor versus Braun Breaker was it was an okay match, but the thing I loved about that match is that I actually thought for a second that Finn could win, which I never thought like until recently. But the reason I thought it then was because all the title changes that have been happening. It made me think, oh shit, anybody can win a belt.
Yeah,
Which obviously,
as a main event too, it made me think that something was going to happen because you normally don't make those kind of things. Well, one of the things they didn't have, yeah, anything. They could have like given, I don't know, they could have had anything. I would have preferred instead of a squash match, maybe Theory and Jay be, but honestly, that's not main event material either. Something like Seth or something, but everyone was just not there. They could have had a match, but as a main event, it works because it is a championship match. It's not the one that people cared for because you had Cena's segment and stuff at the beginning. So that stole the show at the beginning. And then as the show went on, yeah, we had great matches. Penta and Ludwig Kaiser, amazing. And the other matches in between. But then you got to that one and you were thinking something was going to happen because it's a main event. And it really seemed like even during the backstage segments that Finn was like amped up and this was going to be his night. I don't see Braun dropping that title until maybe WrestleMania.
yeah,
So it did make it seem that way because we didn't think. I completely thought Rhea was going to retain. That was a shocker to me that she lost a couple of weeks before Mania because she's already really technically had her Mania moments of retain, like hers and Becky's, and then hers and Charlotte. So maybe she didn't want another, or they didn't want to go for another. But now she's probably going to be in the triple threat. We'll never know that until we see it. But yeah, and then obviously when the Judgment Day came out, well, I thought this interference was going to help, but we know Dom's recent interferences, and every time someone interferes with Finn's matches, he loses. So I thought he had it.
because he sucks.
I thought he had it until he landed on his gonads and got hurt, and then looked really pissed off at Dom, and then Braun got that spear in, and that was it. So
Yeah.
I hate the Finn Balor angle. I'm tired of him getting buried. I don't know what they're gonna do. It's he's a veteran, and I hate how over time, just because of that one injury that happened to him, his whole entire career went down. Hasn't held a belt in forever, and it's like he's not even being punished. He's great. He's a great heel. I don't understand why he's not getting anything. I'm glad that Damien became a breakout star and as well as Rhea, but Finn got pushed to the sidelines of the OG Judgment Day, and even Dominic is rising in the ranks. I'm fine with that. It's like he's not though. I feel like I know he's there to probably push these people, but he's not getting his credit. He's not getting where his needs. Hopefully one
Yeah.
day things change for him.
Hey, Finn Balor fans, I need you to listen for a second.
Uh oh.
Finn Balor, he's never gonna win shit. Okay, he's never gonna win. Give it up. He's not gonna win. Stop thinking he will. Stop cheering for him. Because at the end of the day, it's over. He's Finn Balor now. He doesn't even deserve his real name, and that's not his fault. No, that's Triple H's fault. That's the booking's fault. That's everyone's fault. That's because he had an unfortunate injury. His career went downhill. He's just been used as a fucking pin machine. But guess what? He's going to keep being used as a pin machine because nobody gives a shit because he doesn't deserve it in Triple H's mind or whatever. I don't know what's happening, but he does deserve it, and I feel sorry for you, Finn Balor fans. I feel sorry for you. Stop hoping that he's gonna win. He's not. I'd love that. I'd love it if he does. He's not gonna. Just suck it up and lose it. And honestly, at this point, I think Finn should leave WWE because I feel like he can be used so much better elsewhere.
Well, I didn't know you were going to go with that angle. I mean, he could. Holy shit! I'm glad. Uh, that was Krodok's rant of the week. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I necessarily don't think because here's the thing. Before Triple H took over completely everything, NXT was his yard as well as Dusty Rhodes and Shawn Michaels. Finn Balor was one of his guys, and he pushed him to get to main roster. I don't think Triple H is trying to say that there's nothing there. I just think he's trying to clean up some loose end storylines before he gives Finn any single way of a title. Finn's got to break out of a faction. Finn's got to go back to being the singles guy, the Dark Prince. Even if they wanted to bring back Demon Finn Balor, which I think Demon Finn Balor unfortunately got buried
Finn
by
Balor's
Edge.
dead. He
Yeah,
doesn't want to bring it
Demon
back.
Finn Balor got buried by Edge and Roman Reigns.
Hmm.
Edge should have never won that match. If I think about it, they
Well,
wanted
technically not Roman Reigns. God.
no. Well, he wasn't going to beat Roman Reigns because obviously for us we didn't know that there was going to be a long reign. We were thinking at any time that he could lose until they were like, well, the whole time we planned for him to have a long reign, and it just kept going. So I knew he wasn't going to beat Roman, but to Edge, it didn't make sense. I thought it was going to solidify the Judgment Day more, and Edge was also leaving that same year, so I don't
Yeah,
think it mattered. It made sense to me,
that's what killed him.
but they need to do. Yeah, it killed him really badly, and me personally thinking after his betrayal of Damien, he was going to try to get more serious with the World Heavyweight Championship and get it because there was a whole history there like, oh, you messed me up last SummerSlam, I messed you up this time, now it's my time. It didn't go that way. The Damien feud ended and then boom, nothing more. It's like they just forgot, didn't care. So
Yeah.
even if it doesn't happen this year, hope down the line that Finn doesn't go through the rest of the WWE as Finn Balor forever and just is nothing. I don't dis. I kind of
Really.
disagree because I don't know what because it's hard to say anymore where he could go to treat him better. I know everyone always shoots for AEW, but even
I
TNA
think
could help. But I just don't know if he would go anywhere else.
I just feel like he needs a rework. I feel like 2 years in another company like TNA, then he comes back, and then he could probably get that push. I just at this point, like no fans actually, except for the hardcore Finn Balor fans, like no fans, at least the crowds, don't really care about him. Like there's barely any reaction to Finn Balor when he comes out or does anything, and it's sad because Finn Balor is an amazing wrestler, and but get buried by fucking Edge for some reason, even though he leaves the company like 2 months later, and get buried
Yeah,
by God who decides to cut the ropes on you. So
yeah. What's weird to me is yeah, I don't know why Edge, the being the veteran he is, didn't put people over, or didn't just say because at the time by WrestleMania 39, Vince was still in charge, so Vince definitely was like, well, we're gonna have Edge win, even though I don't know if it was a way to like maybe save Edge to keep him there because Edge was in between staying and leaving, and then he eventually left. I just still think it was the dumbest idea. If Finn won that, maybe roles would have been different, and maybe he would have taken the place where Damien was. I can't really tell or say that. I'm still glad that Damien broke out and got to be a single star. But Finn still needed to have something. And even when he got the undisputed tag titles, they didn't even defend them. There was no point, and then they had to ununify them just for the hell of it to continue the Damien storyline and the Gunther storyline at the same time. It didn't make sense to keep them. It just didn't make sense at all. Now you got the War Raiders who have them. So I mean, I don't know what's going on there. I doubt they'll have a match at Mania. They'll probably have a match the Monday Night Raw before, and then it's just gonna go from there. Or I wouldn't even imagine if they had a pre-show match. But
yeah.
yeah, it's very weird these days, man. Very weird these days. It's like 2024 was that peak of Triple H's takeover, and then 2025 started slowing it down a bit. Right now, like you're only in March, but WrestleMania right now
Mm.
is unpredictable.
Yeah, I love that though. Um, but I think the only thing that Triple H's booking struggles with is for each show. he can have like a really good I feel like this is it. You can have one good tag division and one good mid card division, and then I feel like the other one he always fumbles. It's like he doesn't know how to keep both good at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just all the creativity is relied on him and a few others, and it's like I wish I kind of in a way had like a creativity in this because I make storylines at the time on 2K25 and and I'm able to write them. Like I'm not saying I'm better, but it's like if you can manage people, like write a list down of what you can manage because you have three shows and you have one show that's obviously developmental, but also has their own storylines. But SmackDown and Raw have two different shows for multiple different storylines. I get it. You have the Bloodline stuff, or you have Roman, but you can also still have Shinsuke have a segment, make his title reign matter. There's people in on SmackDown who also can go for that title, and there's people that they're starting to forget about. Like I don't even know what's going on with the New Day. I don't know what they're
Dude,
going with
I
that because
actually
now the feud was with Ray, and now they moved off from that, and now we got this masked attacker going after Ray and the LWO.
gracias.
It's it's so all over the place. It's like WrestleMania 40 was put together better than this. There's just these random storylines coming out of nowhere, and I already know like this is going to lead to probably a um a 6-man tag or something at WrestleMania with LWO and American Made probably. That's all I think of because the whole point of Chad Gable going to the Lucha Underground or whatever he went to was because of Penta, but now he's feuding with LWO. So I see a 6-man tag match at one of the WrestleManias.
I do as
It's
well.
also it's Rey Mysterio giving him a match on WrestleMania. You couldn't put it past Triple H to do that. I feel like he would do that.
Yeah, yeah. Um, actually, I we haven't mentioned this. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens is going to be an interesting
That is
Mania
also
theme.
one. Yes,
Yeah,
that is also. We didn't mention the segments because yeah, Randy did come out, spoke his voice on. He pretty much was speaking more about Kevin Owens, but he spoke his opinion on Cena turning heel. Gave a lot of one-liners. I think. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I'm hoping to see what happens tomorrow night on that. Whatever continues that. We've almost seen the punt twice now. I really do think the punt's going to return at WrestleMania. Like fully. Like he's going to land it and it's definitely one of the most dangerous moves in the WWE. It's clearly not banned anymore since he keeps trying to do it. Um yeah, I cannot wait to see him connect that on Kevin Owens.
yeah. That's definitely going to be awesome to see the punt. They're teasing it hard.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be that like oh people waited for the RKO to Rhea moment, but it's going to be like a punt to Kevin Owens moment. And then I don't really know where his feud goes from after that. Like if he keeps continuing to feud with Randy, sure, but I just don't see it happening much anymore. I feel like after that, he's going to probably take a break after WrestleMania and then come back probably and somehow turn face again. It always happens with him. I know this with Kevin Owens. They're gonna find a way to turn him face again. And it's probably gonna be
Yeah.
like with Sammy's gonna probably break it into him because Sammy's been the voice of reason for him so many times. At this instant, it seems like it's not working, obviously, since what he did to Sammy. But Sammy's just somehow always been the voice of reason for Kevin. It's like that snap back into reality kind of thing, and yeah. So we shall see. Because after WrestleMania, it's like, where do we go from here? You know?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting road to WrestleMania. I think a lot of the matches are really cool. I think the build up for some of them is the problem,
Yeah.
and I love the unpredictability. But other than that,
Big
yeah,
unpredictability.
yeah, I want to talk about NXT, which
Okay. Was it
the
this
one
last
that just
week?
happened. Yeah, Basically, there's that faction, the new faction that debuted at Vengeance Day, I would
Oh
say,
yeah. What was her name
and
again?
we
Or
we we have a name for them now. They just gave us their name.
okay.
They're called Dark State. So
Interesting. Interesting.
yeah.
All right.
But basically the things that happened on that episode were Ricky Saints. I just want to say this quote because I found it really interesting and funny. Ricky Saints always measures up in the right places. uh,
Wow. That's
yeah.
interesting. All right. Dark
And
states.
then Stephanie defends both her titles next week on the same show against
Yes.
Jordan Grace and Jada Parker, Miss Parker.
Miss
So,
Baka. Okay. Interesting.
we'll see how that goes. Um, but for the main event, it was an underground match between Eddie Thorpe and Trick Williams. It was kind of really quick match, like it barely even anything happened. It was just one trick shot basically, and it was done. It wasn't a squash match, but it was very fast. It was like 10 minutes. Um, but yeah, Eddie Thorpe lost, and I want to say Eddie Thorpe underrated, criminally
He's great.
underappreciated,
Yeah,
underrated.
he's great. I do like him.
He's
I
slowly becoming one of my favorite
I don't pay
wrestlers.
attention much to it. I need to start paying attention more to NXT because of this podcast as well. But yeah, some of these things I don't see. But there's things like when the Hardys show up, and that's awesome too when they've been showing up to see all that because it's like it's giving people also more reasons to tune in to NXT because of the TNA crossovers. Because obviously there's old diehard fans who want to see the Hardy Boys again, or they want to see old stars come back in, and just never know what's going to happen after that. Definitely, I gotta have to get me back into watching it more. But yeah, it sounds
Yeah,
very interesting. Very interesting.
I, I'm personally a guy who likes NXT more than Raw and SmackDown most of the
Their
time. I don't know.
storylines are better. Yeah, their storylines have been a little bit better and interesting, especially the whole family angle that's been going on, and then the TNA crossovers, of course. It's all about family.
Yeah. And then once that match ended, I I'm kind of hype. I hope this is a triple threat. I mean, I know we're getting a lot of triple threats recently,
Yeah,
but dude, Javon Evans attacks Oba Femi, and then him and Trick and Oba brawl with Dark State just watching in the stands, like some creepos that they are.
that's a lot going on
But
right there.
dude, I think Javon Evans, Trick Williams, and Oba Femi would be a great triple threat. They need to do that at Stand and Deliver. Give me that,
I'd see that.
please.
I would love that for sure.
But I don't have anything else to talk about. Do you?
I had one more thought, and it was the thought that I talked to you about. It was the my predictions of what Mania looks like for if Cena wins in The Rock's plan. Knowing The Rock well as a heel, he doesn't keep alliances. He turns on people if he needs to. I truly think that The Rock is using Cena. The Rock wanted Cody's soul. Cody told him to go fuck yourself, pretty much. And Cena pretty much already gave. I feel like The Rock knew that was going to happen, and Cena already sold his soul to The Rock. However, he never brought that up in his promo, which is weird to me. But it makes me feel like he had Rock as leverage, but really he was doing it for himself. Rock also wants that belt. Rock has his belt, sure. That's the People's Champion belt. Rock wants the championship of the entire company, which is the WWE Undisputed title. Here's how he can do that. If Cena is considered to be his lackey, or they're on good terms now, the title will be closer to Rock since Cena is pretty much working with him, or in some regards, in association with him. In my opinion, I just see this happening. Cena can win that belt. There's going to be a couple shows probably after that Cena's going to show up on SmackDown since he's going to have to. He's going to probably show up on both. Sometimes they show up on both. He'll show up on Raw, and then he'll probably show up on SmackDown because that's where that belt's going to go. And I just think Rock is going to challenge him. I just have a feeling Rock's going to challenge him, probably a SummerSlam kind of thing, or even WrestleMania Backlash. Even though Cody still has to get that rematch clause in, but I don't see if he does that he's going to lose it right at Backlash. I feel like Cena's going to hold that belt for a little bit longer. But I see this because The Rock is known for betraying, and two, it's going to be closer to him, and it makes sense to me because Cody has been doing this for a long time. He needs a break. Cody's obviously deserved a break by now. Being off TV for a while and then focusing on John Cena and Rock or any other contender makes a lot of sense because then you get that focus on John for a while Cody's doing his own, him resting, training, whatever he needs to do. I really do see that. And it's kind of the same thing of like Roman Reigns. The roles might swap and Cody will be out until SummerSlam. That's my theory. I don't know
I
why, but I just kind of see that happening. Like, and it's not necessarily Rock turning on Cena. He probably just challenges him. Like, okay, why not? We haven't had a Rock versus Cena part 3. This could be
yeah,
it'd be cool to have that at a WrestleMania, but it's not going to happen this year. Rock versus Cena part 3 at SummerSlam, that's where he could drop it. Because people are always talking about Randy versus Cena or Randy versus Cody. They're missing that Rock is definitely involved, and I definitely see him having a match this year, and that seems like that's the match. Because the last
think so.
time that Rock was a champion versus Cena, Cena got it from him, and he was the heel. Now the roles are the same, but Rock beating Cena for the championship back, I honestly am fine with that. And then that leads Cena back into the babyface.
Yeah,
That's
I
my
agree. I
theory.
think you're spot on. I think you're spot on.
It probably will go a different way, but I just see that for some reason because it makes a little bit more sense to me than like him dropping it to like Randy and then that random feud happening, and obviously not Punk either. There's going to be a feud between him and Punk at some point, I'm sure. But it's just weird to like jump from Kevin Owens to like, all right, hey Cena, guess what? I get it. Everyone's been mentioning Cena in their feuds, but that's called reality, and you do have to acknowledge shit's happening around you. It's not like wrestling is only in like all the storylines are set in a different world. They're all set in the same ring and the same world, so they have to acknowledge what people are talking about. But that's my
No,
theory, and I don't know if it's going to go well, but we can come back to this and be like, well, that's my big theory. But
yeah,
that's just no.
I, I think you're completely right, and I think that makes sense because I feel like Randy Orton's going to be his last match, his retirement match. So I see Rock winning it at SummerSlam. He drops that Summer because I think he holds it till SummerSlam.
It's the
Something
only
like that.
way that I can see Cena turn face again. It's just like,
Yeah,
hey, this guy betrayed me. Is this really worth it? The fans are actually on my side. Boom. I think that's the best way to turn him back to face, lose the belt. Rock's got the belt because he's the final boss. This was his plan all along. And then I don't know who he could drop it to. Now you got to wonder about that, but we'd have to get to SummerSlam and then figure out who he's going to drop that to. Because it's not going to be like, oh, he's going to drop it to Randy. It'd be funny if he dropped it to Punk, but that's a long stretch. Uh, because I remember back in 2012, Punk lost it to Rock at the Royal Rumble, and then it'd be cool if like they have like it's like a reverse psychology thing. It's like it'd be funny if like because Cena beat him for the belt, Rock beat Cena for the belt. But we shall see. I would be surprised if we had Roman take it back. But this is a big year of
I
unpredictable events. But I think that theory holds up until it changes.
same. I think you're so right. Honestly, I didn't even think of that.
It
I think you're
changes
spot
completely.
on.
Yeah, it changes completely if Cena loses. But I don't see Cena losing. I don't see
Cena ain't
Cena losing. I don't see him losing.
He's
It's
definitely
been a
not.
minute since we've had like a wrestle besides Roman that heel getting the belt at Mania. I mean, you can consider it Rhea, but like in a way like this, we've always seen John win the belt as a face, as a heel. That's history in the making. You can't not go for that. So
Yeah,
it's gonna be a good year.
I agree.
Yeah.
Before we wrap things up, I do just want to mention something.
All right.
Everybody who's listening, me, RedBeard, and a friend of ours, we have this thing where we predict every PLE to see who wins a belt that we have. And I just want to say that right now I'm the current champion. I won the belt at Elimination
Yes.
Chamber. And I just want to say, acknowledge me as your tribal champion,
Tribal.
okay? As your champion, your predictions champion,
I'll
because
put
I
yeah.
am the GOAT.
I'll put it somewhere on screen here what the belt looks like. But I'm back at was it SummerSlam 2024 when I
Yes.
made it? SummerSlam 2024. So we have this thing between three of us, Krodok, me, my good friend Ryan, like you said. Uh, we would predict. We would make predictions of like who's gonna win or whatever. And I had this idea. Let's make a championship belt between all three of us, and let's see who can win it and whatever. And I made that belt, and Krodok, of course, was the first person to hold it. And I think you held it for two pay-per-views, right? Or one?
I believe
You
I'm looking at the records right here. I won it at Money in the Bank last year.
okay?
I retained at SummerSlam and at Bash in Berlin. No, I
Okay.
lost at
No,
Bash
you
in
lost at
Berlin
Bash in Berlin. I won it at Bash in Berlin, and I
because of
held it.
bullshit, by the way. But whatever.
I held it at Bash in Berlin to Bad Blood, and our good friend Ryan won it at Survivor Series. Correct?
Crown Jewel.
He won it at Crown Jewel, and then it went vacant at Survivor Series because we had a
Uh-huh.
rule that if we tied, if there was a big tie, then nobody wins. Because we were tied, and then he was the current champion, and I think he got none of them right. So we vacated it because there was no winner. We can't just give it back to the person because he didn't get any points. He has to get points as well. So it was vacant from Survivor Series all the way to Elimination Chamber, and now he's the current champion of 2025. It's the Predictions World Championship or the PWC, whatever. I'll have it on screen. You can see the little belt. I took a stock belt and threw my letters on it, but he's the current reigning champion. We may even have that on here. We'll even like keep it up to date on here, like who's the current champion. But I currently, until probably WrestleMania, am the longest reigning by 64 days. He'll probably, if by Mania, he'll be the longest reigning.
No, I have to win
You have
Mania
to win
to.
Mania. Okay, you have to win Mania to be it. Which I'm gonna win it back. So I'm gonna be
You
the champion
wish.
again, or Ryan, who we ever know. But this is a very unpredictable Mania, and now we have two nights to go through. Got to get both nights more correct, more than anyone else. So we'll keep that updated here of who's the current champion
It's
as
also
well.
double the chances.
That is true. That is true for sure. So, well, I guess that's all we'll have for today. I'm surprised we shoehorned it in here before we got to the 2 hour mark. But there was a lot that happened the last 2 weeks. Definitely excited for what's happening tomorrow and in the next couple of weeks because Cena's going to be popping up a lot with Cody. It's a very, very long season. It's taking longer than I thought, and I wanted to be here because I need to see what happens. And but if you all have any WrestleMania predictions or any kind or any gripes with the WWE right now, decisions, titles, whatever, throw them in the comment sections. If you got any topics of discussion that we may have missed or anything, throw them in here. Um, if you're a part of my server, you can always throw them in my server. My server link is in the Discord. You probably find his. He'll probably put his somewhere if he wants to, or we can figure that out later. But if you're watching on YouTube, we have our links to our channels on the screen, and we have them in the description if you're listening to them on Spotify and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that's all we've been able needed to cover this week. So, yep, we've been the Beard Bros. We'll catch you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.